So I'd like to say, well done and good, Mrs. Joyce Meyer. What a good job you've done. In fact, I've been one of those people that occasionally dogpiled and I jumped on the bandwagon. I should have known better. I'm one of those people. I don't want to start crying. Oh no. I criticized you. And years ago, I had attended at least one of your conferences with my husband. And I did back in the day when people would write letters before the internet was prevalent. Before we had America Online, I think. Yeah, even before America Online. My husband and I were discussing, she just places so much emphasis on tithing, and some people can't afford to tithe, and it's wrong for her to be talking about this and be emphasizing this so much. And of course, we sent the letter to the ministry, like we would actually write physical letters and we would mail them in the mail, not like the Unabomber, nothing like that. And we got a form letter back. You know what a form letter is? It's just like, well, this is a complaint we get a lot. Let's just send them the standard reply. Oh, did you Xerox enough of those copies today, Mavis? All right, yeah. You're supposed to be tithing. Just because tithing was Abraham's standard doesn't mean you can't go above and beyond it. Like, somehow, Well, of course, Abraham tithed before the law was given, so that's why it's better than the law, because we're supposed to, okay. Anyway, the Lord loves a cheerful giver. And we're not supposed to be giving under compulsion. But boy, did I enjoy giving money in church on Easter. Because it was like, physical money, and it smelled good, like it came out of, like I got some change from a machine, a grocery store machine, where you could pay with cash and you would get the change out of it. It's just, it's crisp. This beautiful money just smells so good. I know it was only $4, and then I had some change that was beautiful, clean quarters, just beautiful silver money. It was only $5, but it was the most beautiful gift I thought I could give. You think I sound ridiculous? I know there are people. She only gave $5. Well, I'm glad she's not my ministry partner. Yeah, we used to be partners with Joyce Meyer. Like, how many? I'm saying give to TCT, folks. I think I'm giving them $10 a month now. And you're gonna get like a salad bar of preachers. You're gonna have Joyce Meyer. You're gonna have Creflo Dollar. You're gonna have Joel Osteen. Ew, Joel Osteen. Listen, folks. He might not be for everybody, just like Creflo Dollar isn't for everybody. Two very different ministry styles, but I believe the same spirit. Very different audiences. But I tend to think that people are sincere. It's my opinion. If they've been around that long. Well, didn't you just make a mean comment? I don't know if I made a mean comment yesterday. I'm not sure. But quite honestly, I choose not to necessarily be in partnership with Joel Osteen or Creflo Dollar, but I would recommend that you listen to one of their messages before you criticize them. Or if somebody shows you a clip of them on the internet, well, this Creflo Dollar, he just after money. Or this Joel Osteen, he's just like, he leads a cult. Like, it's so, like, please. I listened to an entire message of him, and it's like, well, he's not really saying anything wrong, but sometimes, maybe this message isn't for me. And, I say that about Creflo Dollar. I've watched him occasionally, and it's like, well, maybe I'm not his audience. Not to have contempt for the audience, but it's like, I'm not really sure. If you're feeling like, well, maybe they're just they're kind of phony balonies. Let me tell you something. God knows. I mean, God will judge the person that's a big phony. I had a man who was my triunely, my Latin teacher, my Spanish teacher, and my Italian teacher, because I was interested in learning other languages, in addition to German, which I have not even learned very well, but apparently, well, we're such a German family, you're so German. Why do I not look like a German if I'm so German? You know, it's like, I was talking about Mr. Palma, and he would just be so funny, and even to the point where he would be so outspoken. He was like this short little guy, a very florid face. He had curly hair. I don't know, the curly hair made him look a bit Sicilian or something. And my family is not Italian. I'm just so interested. It's like, he's just so feisty. Wow, he's like nobody I ever knew in my family. And he'd say, that's for the birds. That's a phony baloney. And he was a very intelligent man. Yeah, he really was. He made an impression. Because he was feisty, he was outspoken. My goodness. He didn't fit into the local scene. I don't know. People made fun of him. I can laugh at people being made fun of until I talk about me being made fun of. Because, well, you just don't look like the typical Amish person. Tell me about it. Yeah, I've been wondering, like, I sent my DNA in to Ancestry.com. Well, you're just as white as the driven snow. You're as white as an Easter lily. Really? But isn't there more to the story? I mean, all my relatives are like these blonde people who just look like total normal people. No, I thought I was Native American. I'm not part Jewish, you know. No, you just white. You just didn't get the blonde gene, you know, because the blonde people gonna get all the attention. You didn't get the petite gene and everything. I didn't get the petite gene. Yes, I did. I have little hands. And I have short arms and a small head. And a very narrow neck. Yes, I did get the petite gene. Like, with this cranium, I'm doing lots. But you tell. Well, what's the point of being short when you can be tall, right? Like that clip from Pee-wee's Big Adventure, you know. He borrows the shoes from the guy and he dances. Not that I go and dance on top of like the bar or anything like da-da-da-da-da-da-da. My mother, it's like she never wore high heels. She always wore flats. She was 5'11" on a bad day. I know she was as tall as my dad. She might have been 6 feet tall. In the camera saw she's six feet tall. You shouldn't be repeating that, but I did, you know. And I stuttered because I knew I shouldn't have been quoting that song. She was a working professional, very intelligent. The thing I wonder is, she's like the girl from Ipanema, right? Tall and tan and young and lovely, the girl from Ipanema goes a-walking in. Sometimes I would sing, she said, you know, you sound like Lena Horne. Oh, I would give my heart gladly. How can I tell her? I'm sorry, I have like allergies. I love her, but each day. Oh no, it's terrible. I was trying to sing. And all this phlegm, phlegm. You know what phlegm is like. But I can't even try. I can't believe this. This is terrible. Okay. But, okay, stop trying. I am not going to try. But each day as she walks to the sea, she looks straight ahead, not at me. Tan. My mother could tan so well. Like when I was a little girl, I remember listening to that song on the radio, like a girl from Ipanema. Apparently, is that in Argentina? Like a beach? You won't catch me on a beach. No way. I realized I cannot tan like my mother tan. It's like, how does she get such a beautiful tan? It's genetics. But, makes me wonder. I can see how she gets it from her mother, who was, 5'8", a little bit taller than me. It tanned very well. I can see it. She doesn't get any genetics from her father whatsoever. I really don't think that that was her dad. I mean, she called him dad. I don't think so. I mean, I'm just saying, oh no, she said an evil thing. Well, that's what I think. I mean, if you had kept up a relationship with me, and then we could have had a chance to talk about things, knowing people's personalities, it's possible that wasn't her real dad. The guy who we all called granddad, or some of us did. I mean, my brother's, I don't know what he called. I don't know if my brother remembers or had remembered my grandfather on my mother's side, because my brother's dead, so, can't talk to him either. Talented and young and lovely, girl from Ipanema goes a walking and... See, I cleared the phlegm out of my throat. I could be a backup singer. Oh, I would give my heart gladly. How can I tell? Oh no, the phlegm kicked in again. I'm like Whitney Houston. Thank goodness I never became a Whitney Houston. Well, you never could become a Whitney Houston, so just shut up and get on with your message. Okay, whatever. I think we were talking about Joyce Meyer. Yeah, that's what he was talking about. Sometimes the nicest people that you see in public, like my dad, he'd be like one of the kindest, nicest people, most gentlemanly. Like in private, they get so annoyed with you. It's like, all right, that's enough. I'm tired of you whining, you crying. Just shut the fuck up. I mean, when I was a little baby, you're telling that story again. I do believe she's telling that story again. Can you believe that, Glynis? Oh, I totally believe it. That she would tell that story again. That's the way she is. She just tells stories that people already heard. Well, that's really true. My father had left me. I'm sorry. I got him confused. My mother had left me alone with my father for a few hours while she could just go out shopping. I'm sure she wasn't like, honestly, it was just like she was running an errand, wanted to get her hair done. Want to get her hair and nails done, because my mother had beautiful nails to die for. I don't have those nails. I don't even bother. It's ridiculous. You have tiny little fingers, and just ridiculous. My mother had beautiful nails, just, oh my goodness, it's like Lee press-on nails, but it's natural. It's like a French manicure without you even getting a manicure. That's my mother's nails, not my nails. I got my dad's nails. I got my dad's legs, so I'm pretty sure my dad is my dad. You don't tan well. Dad would burn, to the point of getting sun poisoning if he wasn't careful. I got the ketchup and mustard tan. It's like I could tan pretty well on my arms, but my legs would be like, ugh. The best you can do is turn into ketchup and mustard. Like, part of you is red, part of you is yellow. We're not getting the Indiglo. I don't know where that came from, Indiglo. It's like, you're just disgraceful Transylvanian Saxon. You white person, what did you ever do? What are you doing trying to get it tan? What do you do? I don't know. Like, some ancestor is like berating me, like, why is this white girl lying out in the sun trying to get a tan? Like, blonde people can tan better than I can. It's not fair. And brunette people can be blonder than I can. I've tried to be blonde. Why can't I be blonde? Well, because you're just not genetically gifted to be a blonde person. Now get on with your story. I don't know what I was talking about. No, I guess I was going to be talking about Joyce Meyer. And I attended a few of her conferences. And I remember my oldest son went with me one time. And I was just such an admirer of hers. And listened to her tapes and everything like that when she had the cassette tapes. And I thought if I listened to Joyce Meyer enough, I would never make mistakes in my life and never have like big screw-ups. And then I thought, I've listened to her enough. I'm tired of listening to her all the time. I'm just going to like live my life the way I want to live it. And it's just, I'm going to keep it in mind. I'm just going to live my life. Duh, you screwed up. You really screwed up royally. Oh, no. I think I would have screwed up worse. I might have had an affair like my mother had an affair there. I just said, you know what I'm saying? If not, I think Joyce Meyer saved our marriage. Because I know what happened when I was a little girl. And the devastation, and I remember my mother sitting me down. I was used to my dad being away for most of the week because he had to commute. So, it was nothing. It's sad, not having dad around. Obviously whenever dad comes home, mom and dad squabble, and dad usually ends up hitting the roof, you know what I'm saying, like metaphorically. He just gets mad about things, because that was the way he was. And that's why my mother couldn't deal with him, because he wouldn't drink himself into like a state of anesthesia, like to be... You couldn't anesthetize my dad because he could never be anesthetized. He refused to drink enough, like my mom's dad. He would just drink enough so he could be mellow. My dad, no, he's not going for that. He'll have a few beers. That's it. He's not going to be a sloppy fat drunk. No way. He loves to watch sports. He'd be in the basement bouncing a tennis ball off the cinder blocks, watching a boxing match or football match. When I was a little girl, I said, Dad, why do you like the punching game? Because boxing was always on Sundays, I think. When there's nothing else to watch, it's like the boxing matches were on. My dad was like, he loved that. I said, Dad, I don't like the punching game. It's not nice. When I was a little girl, when I was loved, when I was loved. But I tell you, when my mom sat down across from me, that little table, that little expensive table that my dad probably got from a museum or something, selling its stuff off, like it's a very special table. Like, well, this looks it has wrought iron bone structure and has this beautiful beveled plate glass thing on the top. It's all round, and what I'm talking about, and wrought iron chairs. Not enough for family, enough for two people having a cup of tea or a coffee in France, I guess. She said, Erica, I have to talk to you about something. I'm like, oh no. Oh, my parents are finally sending me away to a boarding school because I'm too difficult to handle. At that time, my brother hadn't been born. I was about 8 years old. I'm like, now, even after getting baptized and having my first communion, I've proven to be a terrible child. And now they're going to send me off to boarding school. And it totally hit me like a hammer. Huey Lewis in the News. Hits me like a hammer. Oh, yeah. Your dad and I, we're getting a divorce. Didn't talk like that. I cried, like, immediately, like if you burst a balloon and the air just goes out. That's how I was. I just cried, and my mother just stared at me. She might have like patted my wrist or something, or my knee, like, oh, you'll get over it. I said, wow. And I learned it doesn't matter when people like me cry. Pardon my French, nobody gives a fuck. You understand that? And yet, here I was in church just the other day. The choir was singing, Jesus loves you. I was dabbing my eyes. Oh, God, please help me not to lose control, because that's really true about Jesus. He does care when nobody else cares, you know? And I'm just dabbing at my eyes. Everybody else has dry eyes. Nobody came up to me. I was like, it was the first time I even visited the church. Nobody came up to me and said, sister, you're very special to Jesus. Nobody gave a flying flip that I was crying. Nobody seemed to care that I gave my beautiful, nice smelling money. I left, and it's like nobody got my contact information. Nobody cared. You know what I'm saying, folks? Well, you're not the type of person that we care about. We care about the younger people. You know, to be honest, sometimes I think old people are like, old people. Why are they just so old? And why do they look old? You know, and like, it's kind of redundant, isn't it? You know, like my dad would always. My cat's playing with a bird toy, by the way. That's what you hear in the background. They're just like, you know, they act like they're making like like a shtick out of being old. Right? Don't you think that sometimes? It's like, well, but no, really, they can't help. They are old. Maybe you should have been nicer to old people. Oh, I don't want to catch oldness. Ooh. Why can't the old people be kind to me? If the old people would be kind to me and understanding and fatherly and grandfatherly and grandmotherly, then I can overlook the fact that maybe they are incontinent or something, you know. You're such a mean person. No wonder nobody likes you. I am not a mean person. I'm a nice person. But anyway, God bless Joyce Meyer. You know, I am so sorry from the bottom of my heart. Oh. You've done the best you could. I appreciate you because I know you're sincere. And anybody that criticizes you, listen. They don't know what they're talking about. Little Missy. They don't know what they're talking about. You have made a priceless contribution. If we want to look, we don't want to use the word pantheon because that comes from Greek mythology, and that's like a catalog of the gods. But since I don't have a better word, in the pantheon of ministers, you are special. And thank you so much for what you've done. I can't wait till Jesus comes back, and then we'll have a chance to sit down and chat. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.